mats and had red stains on the seats. So, where had she gone? Police soon recovered photographs from the camera found in Travis's washing machine, and the timestamps answered this question for investigators. The pictures showed Jodi and Travis posing nude in sexually provocative ways, and they were all timestamped June 4th. Worse, photographs taken shortly after nudes showed that appeared to be the murder of Travis Alexander happening in real time. One moment, there were pictures of him posing in the shower, and the next, images of Travis in a bloody heap on the ground. It appeared these last photos had been taken by accident after the camera fell on the floor. At the very least, these photos proved Jodi was lying about not seeing Travis since April. At most, they indicated she was present for the murder. The nail in Jodi's coffin was the DNA evidence. The same day, she attended the memorial service for Travis in Southern California. Mesa police got word that Jodi's DNA and a bloody fingerprint were found at the crime scene. Police gave this information to prosecutors, who moved quickly to secure an indictment of first-degree murder against Jodi Arias. On July 9th, 2008, the day Jodi turned 29, she was arrested. Shortly after her arrest and extradition to Mesa, Arizona on Halloween of 2008, the Maricopa County Prosecutor's Office filed a notice in court that they were seeking the death penalty in Jodi's case. The physical evidence showed that Jodi was involved in Travis's death. Police also discovered that she had left casual voicemails on Travis's phone after he was already dead.
I know Leslie called you, so I already talked to her, so you can call her back if you want, but it's not necessary. My phone died, so I wasn't getting back to anybody. And what else? Oh, and I drove 100 miles in the wrong direction, over 100 miles, thank you very much. So yeah, remember New Mexico? It was a lot like that, only you weren't here to prevent me from going into the 3 digits, so fun. Tell you all about that later. Also, we were talking about, when we were talking about your upcoming travels my way, I was looking at the May calendar, so I'm all confused. But Heather and I are going to see Othello on July 1st, and we would love for you to accompany us. I don't know when Team Freedom's event is, though, but, it's on the list, so we could do Shakespeare, Crater Lake, and the coast. So if you can make it. If not, we'll just do the coast in Crater Lake.
Since there was conclusive DNA evidence proving that she was at the crime scene, her actions afterward strongly suggested a cover-up. Prosecutors concluded this had been a premeditated murder of the most heinous kind, and they wanted Jodi to pay for it with her life. Within months of the death penalty notice, Jodi changed her story about what happened the night Travis died. During a jailhouse interview with Inside Edition and 48 Hours, she proclaimed she and Travis had been attacked by 2 masked intruders in his bathroom. A man and a woman dressed in black ski masks and armed with guns shot Travis, but Jodi had been spared by some miracle. Jodi said of the attack, quote, "He pulled the trigger and nothing happened with the gun. And so I just grabbed my purse, which was on the floor at that point, and I ran down the stairs and out of there. I left Travis there. I pushed past him and his gun, and I didn't look back," unquote. During another interview, Jodi said the masked man had pulled out her wallet and taken note of her address. She claimed he threatened to hunt her down and kill her if she ever told anyone about what had happened that night. By 2011, Jodi's story changed once again, this time to self-defense. After she filed a motion in court to represent herself, she tried to get several letters admitted to the evidence file that she claimed were written by Travis. The documents allegedly contained confessions from Travis that he was a pedophile, but the letters were quickly proven to be forgeries. After that, Jodi no longer tried to represent herself, but she stuck to the narrative that Travis Alexander was an abusive, sexual deviant who would have killed her that night if she hadn't have defended herself. It took 5 years for Jodi Arias' trial for the murder of Travis Alexander to get underway. After jury selection was completed in December of 2012, opening arguments started on January 2nd, 2013. The prosecution and the defense trotted out all the juicy details, from pictures to explicit text messages to actual recordings of Travis and Jodi having phone sex. The trial turned into a media frenzy as networks scored record ratings from their coverage of a steamy, dysfunctional romance that ended in a horrific murder. And now, for a quick break.
Hello there, Gigawater Gang. I'm Keena, the host of the boozy and delightfully foul-mouthed comedy podcast, Historical AF. I'm a nerdy public historian that is joined by a special guest each week to deliver funny, weird, spooky, and morbid historical nuggets you never knew you needed in your ear holes. Past topics have included the magical manhood of Russia's mad monk Rasputin, my hot take that aliens did not build the pyramids, serial killers that both my parents happened to meet as children. Listen, I know what you're thinking. Keena, how do you even exist right now? Also, who was it? All right, I'll tell you. Spoiler alert, it was John Wayne Gacy and Mark Allen Smith. Anywho, we can't forget the spooky. I've covered topics ranging from the ghost of Anne Boleyn to the night marchers in Hawaii. Don't look at them, guys. If you do, you have to strip naked and you have to lay on the dirt. Them's the rules. You can listen and subscribe to Historical AF wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at HistoricalAFPod. And finally, you can check out the website for links to listen, sources, because citing is sexy, photos, and more at HistoricalAFPodcast.com. Okay, bye!
Now, back to the show. People traveled from all over the country to camp out in front of the courthouse during the trial. The prosecutor, Juan Martinez, was routinely mobbed by spectators vying for his autograph. The trial continued for a whopping 5 months. Jodi Arias took the stand in her own defense for 18 days and gave shocking testimony about the pair's wild sex life and the abuse she allegedly experienced at the hands of Travis Alexander. The night of the murder, she claimed the two had taken photos of each other with Travis's new camera. They went to the shower to get a certain effect with the photos, and Travis posed for her. As the steam filled the bathroom, Jodi's hands became slippery, and she dropped the camera. When he saw she dropped his new camera, Jodi said Travis barreled toward her in a blind rage and body slammed her on the tile floor. She fled to the closet, where she remembered he kept a gun, then shot him in self-defense. In a teary-eyed testimony, she said she couldn't remember anything else after that, meaning she had no recollection of stabbing him almost 30 times, slitting his throat, or covering up the evidence in the case. The jury didn't find Jodi's testimony convincing. On May 8th of 2013, after 2 days of deliberation, they found Jodi guilty of first-degree murder. Next, the jury would have to decide if she would get the death penalty or life in prison. Jodi previously told reporters she would rather die than get life in prison. Quote, "I said years ago that I'd rather get death than life. And that still is true today. I believe death is the ultimate freedom, so I'd rather just have my freedom as soon as I can get it." Unquote. Jodi Arias to Phoenix television station KSAZ. After the jury found her guilty, she changed her tune and pleaded for life in prison. Unfortunately for Jodi, the sentencing phase proved to be less decisive than the initial verdict. The jury remained hopelessly deadlocked on the death penalty issue, and the judge was forced to declare a mistrial. A second jury would have to hear the evidence in the case and decide on sentencing. Beginning in March of 2015, a full 2 years after her first trial, a second jury sat in court for almost a month, hearing the evidence in Jodi's case before once again going into deliberation to decide her fate. But once again, this jury could not agree whether she should live or die. On April 13th, 2015, the judge sentenced Jodi Arias to life in prison for the murder of Travis Alexander. She is currently serving her sentence at Arizona State Prison Complex, Perryville. At the time of this recording, she is 39 years old. Thanks for listening, and remember, you never know what's lurking in the shadows, lingering around the corner, walking past your house at night. So watch out, stay safe, and keep listening. This has been the Jury Room.